Welcome to the show, Wendy. So glad to have you here.
Thank you, Helen. Thank you so much for inviting me to be a guest on your podcast. And we're Zooming this. How exciting.
We're Zooming like we're so modern women.
And look, we're all dressed nice and we've done our hair. We're all pretty.
Yeah. Got a lip gloss
Not that
on.
we don't do that for our normal podcast. But,
It depends. But yeah, so if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll get to see Wendy and I looking fabulous, which is so cool. Now, Wendy and I met at the Wellness Summit in August, which was just such a cool event. And Wendy took the stage for 10 minutes and literally blew everyone's socks off with her authentic message and super cool style. So I was like, I've got to get her on the show because I want to, well, more for like a selfish reason, because I want to find out more about your story for my own interest. But I thought that the listeners would love it too. So Wendy, why don't you take us back to the very start of your story and tell everyone all about where you've come?
Sure. So I'm just going to try and be as brief as possible because, yes, I do love to talk. So Helen, stop me at any point.
I will.
I'm Wendy. I live in Melbourne with my beloved husband of 23 years, Duncan. My background is Indian, Anglo-Indian, and I migrated to Australia 33 years ago from Delhi. I was in Bangalore at the time in India. So very briefly, I came from a plant-based, whole food, Indian, lovely way of eating to the Western diet. And basically that was the start of my health issues, wellness issues, all that stuff that comes along with swapping diets so drastically. At the time, of course, my parents are doing the best that they can, giving us the best that they can afford and, doing all the things. But coming from that, community environment into a latchkey environment, we're suddenly feeding ourselves after school. So you go for the processed food, the multi-packs of chips and the frozen hamburgers and the white bread, and you do all this stuff. You start eating the sad Western diet. You have no idea. I joined school in year 10 in 1985 here. And I think at the time I was a size 10, just going on the numbers. By the time I got to year 12, I was hitting a size 18. Now, that is a dramatic weight increase. And no one ever talked to me about it. I didn't think anything of it. I just kept buying bigger clothes, just doing all that stuff, not realizing what I really was doing was eating the most inappropriately I could for my body shape and type. And I was shuffling all my emotions of, migrating, moving, changing countries, all the things that a normal 15-year-old girl would go through. Stuffing all those feelings down and using food as a comfort mechanism. And this went on for years and years and years and years and years. And sorry, pardon me. Fast forward to getting married and wanting to start a family and then having fertility issues as well. And really briefly, Duncan and I tried for 10 years to have a baby. And we did every Western intervention known to man that you could try. But of course, no one ever spoke to me about diet, exercise, weight, the food I was eating, and coulda, woulda, shoulda, when you know better, you do better kind of thing. I just wonder what my life would have been, and, would we have been blessed with a child if I had had that knowledge and understanding of what I was doing to my body and then being able to change that up. But anyway, all of this intervention of 10 years of every horrible Western drug known to man, which was of no use to me or my body, and I did not react well to it, ended in an emergency hysterectomy one day. And got through all of that, got the most amazing support network, an amazing husband who, is my rock. You get through it all and you come out the other side of it and you go, oh my God, is this my life? Is this, I'm so overweight. I'm 40 kilos, 50 kilos over where I need to be. What am I going to do? And it all culminated. This happened in 2007. So it took a long time. The weight kept increasing, not decreasing. And it all came to a head one day when I was hanging out with my best friend's kids in the school holidays, as I mentioned at Summit. We just gone to the park to kick the footy around, play a bit of soccer. I lasted 5 minutes. I was huffing, puffing, sweating, just exhausted. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't move. I had to go and sit on the bench and watch my husband and these two young people just have the time of their lives. And I'm sitting there crying, hysterical. I'm like, what is this? Who is this person? This is not me. I can't be this anymore. And that was the catalyst for me to really get started on changing my life. and educating myself and, just finding out ways that I could make myself better. Along came my beautiful friends who took me and introduced me to Cindy O'Meara and all her way of thinking of changing habits. And that was just a game-changing day in my life. I read a book, came home, took out the chemical shitstorm that was my pantry, fridge, freezer, kitchen, and started eating real food, organic food, whole foods, and taking out all the processed stuff and especially the gluten out of my life.
Wow. What a story. Like, seriously, that's just incredible.
That's the brief version.
And
Because I have to be brief.
That was really good. Like, you've obviously been asked this quite a few times, because that was a really good, awesome overview. You answered every question that I was like wondering about, so, but I guess if we could just go back to before changing habits, tell us a little bit about what a standard day would look like in terms of food.
Oh, yeah, sure. So standard day, white bread for breakfast with some Vegemite, maybe if I was lucky, I don't know, bacon, eggs on the weekend, inappropriate, not the best kind of bacon, not organic eggs, just normal supermarket stuff. Morning tea, bit of cake, a slice, something like that. Nothing healthy, something that came out of a packet. Lunch would be, usually a sandwich, but once again, there's more white bread or a salad. And the evening meal would be meat and veg usually, but possibly could even be, like a processed schnitzel from the supermarket, or lots of processed stuff like prepackaged food, prepackaged like a lasagna. And I'm not talking the good prepackaged, I'm talking the inappropriate gluten-filled, chemical-filled stuff. So, and I'm not saying it was totally unhealthy, but meat and veg were like, maybe once a day. And veggies could also be, the frozen variety out of the supermarket freezer, because you don't know any better. You think, I'll buy the frozen stuff and that'll last longer. It's more economical. That's what I'll do. But you don't realize you're not giving your body any nutrients whatsoever. And the worst part was I was so addicted to Diet Coke. It was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous for a long, long time. Those big slabs of Coke with there were 48 cans or 24, I can't remember. Whatever the bigger ones was, the 48. We would go through that in a week. And that was pretty stock standard. Pizza on a Saturday night, fish and chips, burgers, all the non-good types, because you can have all those things, just, make them yourself or get them from a really good place, which has beautiful quality. But no, none of that. It was just the standard Western diet. And you think you're doing so good because, you're doing low fat, low carb, no sugar, no salt, da-da-da-da-da. And when you get educated and you read the back of the packets, it's just chemical shitstorm.
I know it is, but like in reality, compared to like the majority of the population, you are eating, you're making everything from scratch. You're making you get your schnitzel from the supermarket and cooking that up with some veggies. Like, it doesn't sound too bad. And I know, like, for me, I like when we still have fish and chips and we still have burgers, but like the quality of the ingredients is so different. You couldn't even really compare it to the stuff that we used to just buy out of the freezer, like at the supermarket. And I remember my husband telling me that it was better to buy frozen vegetables because they were fresher, because they'd been frozen as soon as they were picked, and therefore more nutritious. But obviously all the vitality's gone out of them. They're packaged in plastic, etc., etc., etc. But and who knows where they've come from? It's not seasonal, it's not local, that's what you believe. So you believe that, and you think you're doing the right thing.
You listen to what's going on the media, in the media, and I'm talking, this is before social media or anything like that, but, you see the ads on TV for low fat and the heart tick and all that thing, and you think you're doing the right thing. Yeah. And I know, I'm just even going to say, just even a couple of years ago, when I walked into one of my specialist offices, and she's sitting there with a Diet Coke caffeine-free can. She's got a Weight Watchers low-fat something. She's got sugar-free this. I'm just going, oh my God, oh my God, I'm so far from this. It's ridiculous. And, it's just, you realize just how far you've come from, the good stuff we all used to eat when we were younger, and everything was made from scratch and homemade. Like, we were never allowed soft drink in our house. It was just not a thing. It was a treat thing. And, it was just my goodness. And I sit here now And I laugh. I'm thinking of my gran up in heaven, my beautiful Indian gran, who was the most amazing cook on the planet, made everything from scratch. And I just wish we could bring her back down here and, you know, get her to come and, you know, be on a podcast or be on stage and teach us all her ways of doing things. We would all pay money for that, trust me. Now, my grandparents must be laughing up there at all the stuff we do now and thinking, we used to make bone broth. We used to eat bone marrow. We used to eat top to tail. We used to do all that stuff, you know. And I mean, my diet in India was basically plant-based. I mean, we did eat meat, but not a lot of it. And I was like, Cindy O'Meara and even the amazing Pete Evans, who I've met and know very well, have both said to me, just go back to eating Indian food. You'll be fine. Really, you'll be fine. And I'm an Indian who doesn't really like Indian food, so that's hysterical. So I'm just going to go,
what a waste.
I know. It's okay. Okay. What?
What?
I go, can you cook it? Yes, I can cook it.
Well, you're lucky that you can cook it. You're lucky that you can cook it. And like, you know what you're saying about bringing your grandma down from heaven. It's like,
yes.
You know, the cooking used to be a skill that we used to just pass on from, you know, generation to generation. And then something happened in our mum's generation where, and like, this isn't any disrespect to our mothers who are incredible, but but something happened. I remember that mum used to make like chicken stock. We'd have like a chicken and then she'd boil the carcass and she'd save that in the freezer and add it to stuff. And then something just happened. I don't know what happened, but one day we started buying stock cubes and that went out the window. And then we started using those, you know, MSG, loads of salt, blah, blah, blah. And it's only just that one generation. And then, you know, I've had serious health issues. You've had serious health issues. Our children, you know, this generation's children have got worse health issues. And I think really what we need to do, and I know this is what Cindy said as well, like food, you know, health starts in the kitchen. We need to teach people how to cook real food as well, which is why your friend Pete, his message is wonderful, teaching people how to cook incredible food, which is
and I know he gets pasted in the media. I know all that good stuff, but I mean, I've been in his company many times and had a conversation with him, and he has been, you know, same thing like what Cindy said to me, go back to what you know, go back to what your body knows, go back to what your ancestral way of eating was. And I'm just like, oh my God, it's so obvious, like, hello. And now I have incorporated a lot more Indian food into my diet, a lot more plant-based food into my diet. And I mean, of course, I cannot wait to go to Bendigo Base Camp, which I know will be over by the time this goes to air, because I can get some more of your goodies. Oh my goodness. That fruit life is to die for.
Thank you. I'll get you some, I'll make sure Dee has got Primalista Dee will be, she lives in Bendigo, so she's definitely going to be at the Bendigo Base Camp.
Awesome,
and I'll make sure that she brings you a goodie bag with some fruit toast in and some other goodies.
Oh, that'll be fun. I'm just like, oh my God. I'm like, I think Duncan and I lived on that for 2 days after summit. I was like, what do you want to eat? I go, I just want to eat that fruit toast.
No, I did. This is a bit top secret, but I'll tell you anyway, and the whole world. But the other day, I don't know why, I was doing some recipe testing for I'm bringing out like a packet mix range, so like a bake your own range. And I was putting all the stuff in. For the fruit toast, and I was missing a couple of ingredients. So I was like, oh, I wonder if I could turn this into a savoury loaf. Anyway, just a couple of ingredients tweaks, and I've created this savoury turmeric loaf. Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good.
That's Christmas in a packet.
It's so crunchy and yummy. It's got oregano in it and blah, blah. It's just like, it's like a savoury muffin. You know when you buy savoury muffins?
You're seriously making me hungry right now.
Sorry. Anyway, it's not about me. So back to you.
Yes. No, it's all good. Let's go back to where we're supposed to be. We could talk food all day, you and I, Helen.
My God. We could just make this entire episode just about what you eat now. And anyway, I know the recipe ideas that we've got, but tell me about how we've talked about, you know, like you said about your weight gain and your fertility issues, and you told us a little bit about crying on the bench when you couldn't play with the kids and with Duncan. But what other sort of mental or emotional symptoms did you have when you were, you know, living the standard Australian way?
Absolutely. So I had no idea at the time, but I was suffering, you know, terrible, terrible gut issues, which I had no idea. You know, my excretions of Damien Christoph will be laughing. We're talking about poo, but anyway, you know, my normal bodily functions were not healthy to start with. my anxiety was at an all-time high, and I had no idea, but every time I was putting more processed chemicals into my body, it was reacting, and it was stressful. It was, I was a pretty happy-go-lucky person. I still am, pretty cool, pretty calm, not much fazed me, but I would just have terrible mood swings, terrible, acne on my face, terrible, like bloating issues. I'd get up and I'd look like, I had a stomach 3 times the size if I'd eaten a bit of extra gluten or had too many things like pasta or bread or all that kind of stuff. And it was like these mood swings were incredible. And I'll tell you a really quickly scary story. I was in a car park one day. We were at the shopping centre going to the shops, and someone stole my car park. And it was this tough Maori guy, and I'm mouthing off to him, or something I've never done in my whole life. I'm ready to get out and have a punch on with him with my club lock. And Duncan's physically holding me back, going, "Are you insane? He will kill you." And it was like, even the guy was so shocked. He goes, "Man, is she okay?" Like he was more concerned about that. This can't be normal. This is not normal behavior. And I just sat in that car and just went. And at the time, I was on Clomid as well, for fertility stuff. So put the Clomid in with the white food, all the white bread and the white food and the pasta and all the inappropriate stuff. I just wasn't myself. Who was this person? And, no one's brave enough to kind of not have a go, but tell you what's going on. And poor Duncan, he had this, pretty calm, cruisy, happy wife to this almost psycho person. And then, everything would calm down. Like, let's say all the chemicals had gone out of my body for a little while. I'd be happy as Larry and calm. And it was just this, this horrible ups and downs, swings and roundabouts, this yo-yo living, never mind about yo-yo dieting, but this yo-yo living that you just didn't know what was, what mood you were going to have. And how scary is that?
Oh, it's horrendous. And I've totally been there myself, so I can totally relate. And we're also lucky to have that friend. The one friend, I had my friend Kirsty who told me about paleo. I'd never heard of it before, so I went and Googled it, and that transformed my entire life. And you had your friend that told you about Cindy O'Meara. Now, I've not done Cindy's Changing Habits course, so can you tell us a little bit about what you did, what changes you made, and how that looked?
Sure. So I never actually done her course or her protocols. I just bought her book called Changing Habits, Changing Lives. And I read it cover to cover, and all the changes that she introduces in it and encourages in it, that's what I did. I bought her recipe book and I followed that book and got rid of all the chemical stuff in my life. So it was like, and it was came down to every condiment. It was, the chemicals in tomato sauce, in barbecue sauce, in mustard, in mayonnaise, in sweet chili sauce, everything that you have in your fridge that you don't realize all the, the chemicals and the acids and the regulators and the thickeners and the agents that are in there, just adding to your chemical little party that's going on in your body, going, no, I don't think so. So for me, it was just starting. Like, I got eliminated most of the breads, pastas, rice, carbs, all that stuff. Just basically ate beautiful, healthy, organic food from our local farmers market, the veggies, the grass-fed meat, and just try to keep basically a meat and 3 veg kind of diet. Just really simple, really clean food, really, really clean food. Nothing out of a packet, nothing out of, I'm lucky enough I've got a Thermomix at the time, so I started just making all my own stuff from it. And, in the Thermomix and without the Thermomix, and just incorporating, beautiful things like the veggie stock, bone broths, all those healthy things back into our lives. And the change was just incredible. It's like the brain fog lifts, you're clear, you have clarity, and you're a much nicer person.
Which is good news for Duncan and the Maori dude at the supermarket. We'll be glad to hear that you've returned to normal sanity, which is really great.
I don't know about normal sanity. As normal as I could ever be.
I love it. So did you see like a naturopath as well, and did you get any like herbal tonics and treatments as well?
So about this time, I was introduced to a beautiful kinesiologist, Mandy Rigg from Kamchi Wellbeing, and she was oh my God, I have so many people who are in my support network. So I had a beautiful kinesiologist, I had a naturopath who put me on this revolting bottle of tonic, but it just worked. You know, it helped heal me from the inside and the outside, if you know what I mean. I knew I needed help. So I definitely, you know, I was seeing a kinesiologist, which also provided me some therapy to deal with all my issues, you know, from the past, and deal with all my health issues, not just my health issues, but my mental issues as well. And, you know, from not being able to be a mum and everything that came with it. And, you know, you just push it all down and do all that good stuff. And you think, yeah, I'm fine. Well, you know, you're not really fine. And you can't heal until you deal. I say that all the time.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm writing that one down.
You can't. Yeah, that can be the quote.
Until
you deal
for Instagram. You can't heal until you
deal. So you've got to deal with all the whatever's going on the inside, mentally, physically, emotionally. It's a package. You've got to have a holistic approach to it. So I was very lucky that, you know, I got myself into the gym. I had an amazing personal trainer. I had a naturopath. I had a kinesiologist. I have a GP who gets me, who gets all this weird stuff that I go and do, and he never says anything. I walk in and I go, I'd like a test for this. And he goes, yes, okay, fine, whatever. And he just rolls his eyes. He doesn't even ask anymore. He goes, because as he says to me, blood tests don't lie, and you're living proof of how you've turned it around. Never mind about the weight loss and the dress sizes. It's, you know, look at your blood test results. All your levels are where they should be. They're better than where they should be. So, you know, when your blood pressure, you're on like 5 or 6 tablets, and now you're down to 1, and even that hopefully is going to be gone by the end of the year. The GP goes, yeah, okay, fine, cool, whatever. Keep doing whatever you're doing. I'll do whatever. So you've got to have that support network. If you don't, you've got no hope. And for me, I think the biggest turning point was the day I didn't need insulin anymore. After my hysterectomy,
so you had diabetes. You didn't tell us about your diabetes.
Yeah. I forgot to talk about all this stuff. So I was diagnosed type 2 diabetic in the year 2000. I had my hysterectomy in 2007, and while I was under, they had to give me insulin because it was such a long operation. So I woke up, and all of a sudden I now have to supplement with insulin at meal times, which no choice of my own, no thought, no asking me, no telling me. This is just what it was. I was like, wow. And I was like, I'm not going to do this for the rest of my life. So 2 years ago, I got myself off the insulin just with diet and exercise. I didn't do anything drastic. And like even the specialist was like, I don't believe it. You haven't had like a gastric bypass or a lap band or anything like that. I go, no, I haven't done any of that stuff. And she goes, well, blood tests don't lie. So, you know, my blood sugars are normal as a normal person is. So, you know, I don't want to claim that I've reversed it completely, because until I'm off this one last tablet, I haven't reversed it, but that's coming. I know it's coming.
Well, and also, like if you were to start eating, you know, your schnitzels and your pastas and your white bread again, you'd have your diabetes again. But that's
exactly right. That's exactly right.
Turned it around, let's say, instead of reversed it, you turned it around with diet and exercise. And I think that's becoming more widely accepted now, that type 2 diabetes is just it's just a reflection of where you're at with diet and lifestyle.
Absolutely.
And it can be great and very inspiring for people who are listening to this that didn't know that. I mean, here you are living.
No, exactly. And it's like, you know, I didn't set out go, I'm going to get myself off insulin. It wasn't like that. It was, I'm going to get better. I'm going to live my life. I'm not going to watch my life. I'm not going to sit on that bench anymore. I'm going to be running on that soccer field, driving them all mad. I'm going to be on the cricket pitch, driving everybody mad. And that's what I'm going to do. And I think that was the biggest game changer, making that decision in my head, getting the support around me. I mean, I have an amazing bunch of family and friends, which I'm so, so blessed to have. But until you get inside here and you figure out what's going on in here and stop lying to yourself, stop telling yourself stories, you've got to do it. And that there's no easy way. As I said at Summit, there's no easy way. Stop telling yourself all the bullshit that you're going to. You're not big boned. It's not hereditary, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. I don't believe that personally. It's like, get out there and do it. Go find what works for you. Go find the eating plan that works for you, whether it needs to be paleo or organic or vegan or vegetarian or whatever it needs to be. Just eat real food. Just eat clean, simple, real food, and move your butt every day. It's as simple as that, really.
It is just as simple as that. And I love it. It's so true. But what I'm really really inspired to hear a little bit more about is, just what you're saying about, what was it they said? You can't heal until you deal. And I think that you can only, well, I don't know about you, but I certainly couldn't deal with all of my mental health issues and all the bullshit stories I was telling myself, which I call upper limits. Like you can only have a life as good as you believe it can be, or as much as you believe you are worthy of having, or your level of enoughness as a person, right?
Yes.
And I know that, like, I thought there was nothing wrong with me, really. And I thought I was doing everything right. But when I got rid of that brain fog and had that increased clarity and that connection and the energy that you get when you're actually feeling vital and you're actually not on the bench anymore, you're living your life, it's only then that you can start to tackle these big bullshit stories you're telling yourself. Because if you're just like in that messed up headspace, you just like, pass me some Maltesers, let's just push all this shit down, because you just are too overwhelmed to unpack everything, but really it's like a vicious cycle. You just feeding more and more to it. So for anyone out there, like, everybody's got to find their what I call inner readiness. Like, you might hear about this kind of lifestyle that we lead and think, oh, good for them, they're doing all right, but they're different to me and they haven't reached that inner readiness. But do you have any like message for people out there who are listening to you thinking, shit, I relate so much to Wendy's story and what she's saying, but I don't know where to start, or I don't know when day one's going to be? Like, do you have anything to say to those people?
I just think the first thing is, and I say this all the time, be kind to yourself. You are not all your past, you are your future. You are where you are right now, and how about you meet yourself right where you are right now? Get educated, go and talk to people who may have a better idea, or someone who's been through it. Go online, get inspired, go to a seminar, go to a workshop, just Google real food, and I say start with one meal at a time. Just start with breakfast, fix your breakfast, do one meal, and really have a look at what you're doing. Maybe eliminate all the processed chemicals, cereals, white bread, all that stuff. Go and eat, either, if you can, make your own bread, or, get some from you guys. Oh my God, don't even think about it. Like, just go and get it from you beautiful people. Eat something really yummy, eat something really whole, and make some time for yourself. Just do it one step at a time. You cannot do this all at the same time. It took me 4.5, 5 years. It's going to take a long time. You didn't put the weight on in 5 minutes. You put it on over a whole bunch of years. So it's going to take the same, possibly a long time, for you to get to where you think you want to be. But just first of all, get real with yourself, and then just tackle one meal at a time. And I started my movement with 5 minutes and a kitchen timer. I put my kitchen timer on for 5 minutes and walked around my house, and increased that to 45 minutes walking around my house and garden, like a insane person, just going round and round and round. But yeah, that's it. But that's what I was comfortable to do, and that was okay. It took me a long time to get from that point to the gym. There's a lot that had to go, a lot of work had to go into getting to that point. But the thing is, you've got to be, as you said, you've got to be ready. Your insides have got to go, right, I'm ready, let's do it. And find a buddy, find a friend, find a group, find someone who can support you. No one can do this alone. We cannot do this alone. You're kidding yourself if you think you can, because you can't. It takes a village, and you have to be kind to yourselves always. So start simple, start slow, and make sure that you're not sabotaging yourself. So small, simple, achievable steps.
Love it. I love it. And it's true. You can't do this on your own. And you actually get 80% more success if you are accountable to somebody else, because that's just how we work.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Which is really cool.
Get an accountability buddy. Get an accountability buddy. Someone who will either come for a walk with you, or someone who you've got to send a photo of you on a walk to with a timestamp, or when you're going to the gym, or whatever you're going to do to move. Get someone who's in the same space and who can help you.
Awesome. I love it. So what did you have for breakfast this morning?
Well, today was a bit of a lazy morning, so it was a bit special. I had some forage cereal, which I love, And I'm not just saying that because I work with Jamie
Nice
Christoph.
plug.
I've loved forage steward. Forage steward for a long, long time. So I had a little bowl of forage muesli and I was still a little bit peckish. So I had a bit of your beautiful bread.
Oh, good. Nice plug.
Absolutely. With some smashed avocado on it. And it was yum, and a glass of orange juice. Freshly squeezed homemade orange juice. Yum, yum, yum.
Sounds absolutely delicious. So
it was.
Let's go to how you've taken transforming your life to then going on to create Wendy's Way and helping others transform their lives. Because, you know, it just amazes me that you did that walking around your house for 45 minutes until you were then ready to go to the gym. But I've seen you now on stage, Wendy, in front of 800 people. So what did you do? Well done. Like if we were in front of an audience now, everyone would have clapped.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot to me. Thank you.
Super huge. But how did you what made you decide that you're going to make this into a business? And how come you get to hang out with cool dudes like Damien Christoph, Marcus Pierce, Brett Hill, Cindy O'Meara, Pete Evans are all your friends? Like, how did you do that?
Scary, right? Scary. And I just like to preface all of this by saying, if I can, anyone can. So it came with doing the work. You've got to do the work. And I'm doing the work. And I was lucky. I got to go to a couple of dates with Cindy O'Meara. I went to a couple of Pete Evans events. I've been to like 4 or 5 wellness summits now. I can't remember. Let's go 5. 5 wellness summits. And they watch you. They watch what you're doing. They get to know you. Because, you know, see, I'm so shy and retiring. No one ever remembers me. But, you know, I got to know these guys. I got to be around them. I got to be in their company. I got to call them friends. And it was Marcus and the wellness guys that said, we'd love you to have a podcast on the Wellness Couch and share your story, because we think the whole world needs to hear your story and how you're going. And, you know, I'm talking 2.5 years ago when they asked me this, I was still 20 kilos heavier than I am now. So I was like, I got invited, and then I went and did a podcasting course to learn how to do it. And then I started my podcast, and I share my story. My guests are everyday people like you and I who are wanting to make a difference, who've done something to make a difference, who are just living their lives and, you know, trying to be their healthiest, happiest. So that leads to, you know, I get my own podcast, which goes out once a fortnight on the Wellness Couch. I get to be interviewed by amazing people like you. The boys are now my peeps, my friends. And, you know, I get to be interviewed on stage at the Wellness Summit in 2016 as a podcaster. And then you get invited to be a presenter at the 2018 Wellness Summit. So it's all, you know, it's been a journey. It didn't all just happen overnight. It takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of guts. And to stand up in front of 800 people, tell your story as briefly in the time that you have to tell your story, and forget all the bits that you wanted to say. But anyway, and share photos of what I used to look like to now. For me, that was like, you know, I'm pretty okay talking in front of people. But, you know, when you've got to get up and tell your story and share those photos of you not looking your greatest, it's like, wow, have I come a long way. And I look at photos of even 2 years ago at 2016 Wellness Summit to 2018 Wellness Summit, and I see the difference. Even from the start of this year to now, I'm like, wow. And I'm so grateful for all of it. And, you know, if it wasn't for the Wellness Couch and everything that's come through it, I wouldn't be here today. Absolutely not be here today.
Wow, that's incredible. Just wow. I'm just so in awe of what you've achieved, and you're just such an inspiration. Like, seriously, but I think there's a lot to be said about events. You know, it's a common thread that's coming through what you're saying is, you know, really finding your tribe, finding your people, connecting with like-minded people. And, you know, I live so far away from all the action, like right the other side of the country. And I thought that I could do so much, just, you know, and you can, social media is freaking incredible, and Zoom and all this technology that we've got now to get this message to, like, we can make grassroots change, because we can, you know, we don't have to be invited on Today Tonight. We can just create our own TV show, sister, you know, which is so cool. But there is something amazing about live events and getting together with real people. And that's what's obviously catapulted your career. So tell us about Wendy's Way, and tell us about what you offer.
So Wendy's Way is still in its infancy. So everybody hang on, you know. So Wendy's Way for me, I've run a couple of workshops. I've done a bit of wellness coaching. I've done a bit of life coaching. And at the moment, I'm very lucky. I've teamed up with Damien Christoph from Forage Cereal, and we are running 4-week forage challenges, which is, I'm not going to say it's a program. Well, I suppose it is a program, but it's a kickstart. It's 4 weeks to get people, who might be where I was 4.5, 5 years ago, who need to start. It just helps you to start on your journey. It helps you to kickstart your gut and your food and your eating and your movement. And that's what we're going to keep doing 4-week challenges, every few months or so. We've got the summer program going to start up soon, and this might go to air before it started, but we will be doing another one. We will keep doing the summer 4-week challenge, and then we'll go into the winter 4-week challenge. So we're going to keep doing that. And for Wendy's Way, I'm going to keep loving my podcast, which is my passion project, and keep doing that. I'm dreaming up some workshops of my own. I'm dreaming up a Wendy's Way program so that everyone can find their own way. So it can be Wendy's Way leading to Helen's Way, or to, anybody else's way kind of thing. So, and I would love to keep sharing my story, tell my story, so I can inspire, empower men, women, children, young ladies, young teenagers, whoever needs to be inspired. And, just to prove, not just proof, but I am living proof that you can do it. You don't need anything fancy schmancy. You just need a bit of common sense and a great support system, and to be accountable. And that's what Wendy's Way is. And, it's all going to unravel as it will. And I'm so excited, and I can't wait to share my journey and whatever, blessings and gifts come with it by being part of this journey.
Oh, magic. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So before we're just getting to the end of the show now, Wendy, but before we start to wrap up with the last couple of questions, let's ask your opinion on my 3 great areas in a clean living lifestyle, which is chocolate, wine, and coffee. What's your personal take on those 3?
You know what? You're asking the worst person in the world. I don't like chocolate. I don't eat sweet things. I know, right? I know, this is
not like chocolate.
Ever, right? I know, right? Don't eat chocolate. Don't like sweet things. And thank God, because I reckon I'd be a goner. Wine? No, don't really drink either. So I'm not really helping you here.
What about coffee?
Really not helping. Coffee, I gave up. So as the smell of it still gets me. But if I'm going to drink coffee, which is very rare, I'm going to drink the best quality organic coffee I can find and supplement that, If I'm really going to do it, it's got to be the best quality. Otherwise, I'm not going to touch it. And I'm sorry, I hardly do that either these days. So I'm a complete waste of space in this question, honestly.
Well, it just goes to show that, I know a lot of us don't use, we may have used these 3 things as a crutch in our previous lifestyle.
Yes.
But now I think we've all, like you say, getting the best organic versions possible.
Yes.
If we do choose to indulge. But it just goes to show, looking at you're so healthy, you're so vibrant, you're full of life. So that's what could happen for you if you ditched chocolate, wine, and coffee too.
Now, I'm not telling everybody to go out and ditch it, because, I have a husband who's sweet tooth on the planet that makes up for both of us. But, just swap it to the best quality that you can. You limit the quantities and swap it to the best. Maybe, I don't know, try organic wine. There's beautiful brands of chocolate out there. Make your own. You guys must have recipes. My God, come on. There's beautiful, I know Jo Whitten does beautiful recipes with chocolate.
Jo's got the best chocolate fudge. She had some at the summit, and she was like, Helen, did she give you some? She's like, Helen, and she brought out this big bag of big fudge and gave it to me. I was like, oh, what a thrill! Jo Whitten's homemade chocolate.
Yeah, and it's like, I've been lucky. I've been in Jo's company when she's actually made the chocolate and one of the wellness breakthroughs I was at. And, everybody else is hoeing in. I'm happy with one tiny little piece. I'm not a chocolate person. I'm not a sweet tooth. So it doesn't matter. But if you're going to do it, how about just I hate the word moderation, but just control the quantity and control the quality. Seriously, have the best you can and just have a little bit. It's okay, 80-20.
I totally agree. I know everyone thinks the word moderation is naff, but I think that it just really depends on the kind of person you are. Because, for example, chips and lollies, for me, I have no interest in those 2 things, so I can just totally miss those. But for me personally, that's why I ask everyone, because I'm looking for
sure
in my chocolate, wine, and coffee consumption. But it's the same thing. It's I don't eat Cadbury's chocolate anymore. I have 2 squares of 90% chocolate, and organic wine,
Oh,
organic
yeah.
coffee,
Yes.
decaffeinated because of my adrenals,
Yes.
and all of that sort of thing. So
Yes.
I think it's just, because, humans, we just don't really dig deprivation. So if you were to say, like, you can't have that, then it's the only thing you're going to think about, and you drive yourself crazy.
Exactly. And it's crazy. It would be, I just couldn't, I couldn't imagine telling my beautiful Dunk, you're never going to eat chocolate again. That's insane. That's his thing. He loves chocolate.
Tell my gorgeous husband, I couldn't tell him no more chippies, because he's a Kiwi.
No.
He's a Kiwi bro, like the one you met in the car park. And I think he would, like, he'd have to leave. Like, when I said we were going paleo, he said we can't do it without cookies, which is why I had to make that cookie recipe, which is brilliant, because that's such a good recipe and does really, really well. So
yeah, exactly. And the thing is, just swap it out for the better quality, the best quality. And yes, I hate saying moderation because I hate that word, but just, be sensible about it. Just, you can't just have nothing. I don't believe that. It's like, go the 80-20 and just have the darn chocolate, but have the best quality chocolate you can.
And savor it, enjoy it. Like, I think that some of us feel a bit guilty about indulging in those sorts of foods.
No.
So we kind of like secretly scoff it, whereas really what you want to do is sit down somewhere in the sunshine, smell the chocolate, taste the chocolate, not be like this while you're eating it. Taste it, love it,
celebrate.
Yum.
Exactly. Celebrate the chocolate, enjoy the chocolate, and enjoy you enjoying the chocolate.
Yes. Oh my God, Wendy, we need to live near us so we can just hang out and be besties.
Can you move back to this side of the world?
Do you know, it's where everyone is. Everyone, all the cool peeps are over there, but I'm quite happy with my fly in, fly out.
You're cool. You're cool enough. You're holding up the cool quota for that end of the country. Thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah, I've got it covered for you all, WA. Got it sorted.
Absolutely.
Hilarious. All right, Wendy, where can we find you?
So you can find me on social media on wendysway.com.au, on Facebook, on Instagram. Sorry, I don't do the Snapchat thing. I don't even understand it. So I'm very sorry. But
modern.
I don't get it. Like, my goddaughter tried to set it up for me and I'm just like, oh God, I don't even know, Jess, whatever. Let it go. The Instagram, Facebook, my website, you can always find me. If you've got any questions, just send me an email, send me a private message, holler at me and I will help in any which way I can. And I look forward to connecting with your beautiful tribe on all my social media and through my website.
Awesome. Wendy, you've been such a fun, awesome, full of life guest. It's been such an honor to hang out with you this afternoon. So thank you so much.
It's my absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me on, and I can't wait for you to be on my podcast.
Look out, Wendy's Way fans. I'll be there too.
Ellen Marshall coming at you live.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Wendy. Until next time.
So welcome. Take care. Much love, everybody.